The Hangout is live. All right, let's check my microphone. Microphone, webcam. Yep, save. Okay, and we're live. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the pre-show for The Road to South by Southwest. I'm Steve Garfield, and we're just setting up here. And it is 1:38 as I record this, and the show will go live at 2. That's when we told everybody we were going to do the show. So this first part is just my setup part. And actually, I'm also broadcasting this, for those of you who are watching, on Meerkat, which is on my iPhone. Oh, look at that. That's cool. So I'm streaming live on here, and you can get the Meerkat app and watch the behind the scenes. Here's Carol. Whoops. Oh, there's Carol.
Hi, everyone. Everybody getting ready for next week?
Yep, they're on the road to South by Southwest. Carol is going to be a newbie. Carol, why don't you come around
and I'm going to be
and you can be over here.
Ticketless. But you've signed me up for an awful lot of events so far, which I have to start tracking. I need to put a document together and have it all on my phone, and that's all I need to do. Boy, look at this.
Yeah, Carol's going ticketless. So if anyone has tips for ticketless people going to South by,
I don't know who's watching.
you can see over here. So this is interesting. Zero viewers on the Google Plus. One viewer, and 27 on Meerkat. Meerkat totally beats Google Plus. Here, let's see.
So can I put the vacuum on or no?
You can put the vacuum on. Yeah, you have 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay, I'm off. And then I might go do the errands.
Let's say goodbye to Carol.
I'm going to close your door. How about that?
Yeah, you can close the door. Where is the applause button on here? I don't know. 2 viewers. Hello, 2 viewers on Google Plus. Raul, come on. Will Carol. Oh. Okay, I gotta shut that off. But let's just see what Raul is saying. I'm on G Plus. I can see you. Can you join into the Hangout? I am on watching you. Oh my goodness. Screen share, showcase, Q&A, capture, cameraman, control room, Hangout toolbox, Google Effects, invite people. I already did this. I haven't used this in a while. Actually, I used it yesterday. Oh, look. It's Leonard Nimoy right there. Okay, Raul, join in. Join in. How do you do that? I invited you. Just join in. God. That's why Meerkat's easier. Oh, there you are. Hey. Oh. Okay, so there's me. There's you. Say something so I can hear.
Oh, Can you see me, Steve?
I can.
Can you hear me okay?
I can see you and hear you.
That's great.
Perfect.
I think last time I used the Hangout was probably a year and a half ago.
I know. I jumped on it yesterday to test it out, and I think I'm with you on that year and a half.
Yeah, I usually just go to GoToMeeting or Skype. It just makes it easier for a lot of people. So,
I just want to share this link real quick. Oh, to just share it out there again. And so you saw on the page, like the outline of things, how we want to do this?
well, I have 15 minutes, right? Carol has 20 minutes with the. I didn't see the page. I mean.
Oh, that's okay. This is what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
See,
Screenshot.
so this is my rundown. We're just getting ready now, and then we'll start. And then I have 3 tips I want to give people, and then if you might have 3 tips, and
Okay.
then we'll go and we'll do Saturday, and we'll give each of our tips for the daytime and the nighttime, and then we'll do Sunday daytime and nighttime.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I have about 2 or 3 for each thing, so we can just run them down and, you know, do it quick. So you have 15 minutes to do the show?
Me? I thought this was all afternoon. Just 15 minutes, it?
Actually, when I turned it on, it said we have 8 hours, so...
Okay, that's... As long as we can take a break to just get a meal every once in a while, it should be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Here, I want to just grab the link and put it out there on Twitter again while we're here. Let's see. So 15 minutes we have. Okay. So and you know I'm streaming this on Meerkat.
Yeah, I heard about that. See, I always learn a lot of things from you. That's why I try to follow you around when I get a chance.
It's pretty cool.
I heard you had more people watching on Meerkat
than Google Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have two viewers on Google Plus right now, which I think is you and me. And then on Meerkat we have 30.
Wow.
Immediately.
Amazing. I guess with all the negative news on Google Plus, it doesn't even help people. Like I use Google Plus every often, and I don't even use the Hangout feature. So imagine those that never use it. So.
I know. Maybe I shouldn't call it a Google Hangout.
Just call it a. So what would we call it? I mean, it'd be a Meerkat.
You call it a TV show, is the way I think.
Sounds more attractive, yeah.
Because they call podcasts radio shows. It's just like, or this is the same discussion that we always have. What do you call these things? I just call it TV show, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's easier for people to understand.
What do they call Netflix shows? I don't know that they call them TV shows.
It's funny you mentioned that because tomorrow, I mean, usually when we're at South by Southwest is when daylight saving times, kicks in, right, or turns off. I don't know, because here in Puerto Rico we stay in the same time zone, right? So we disconnected cable about I think 3 years almost, and usually at this time of year it was kind of cool because then you get to watch your shows not that late. So I tell Lucy, I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, wait, we don't have cable anymore, so we use Hulu and Netflix. So, yeah, I guess people call it TV now because, I was under the false interpretation that I still have a TV, and I really don't. I watch Hulu or I watch Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Pre-show now. Show starts at 2. So doing this show is really great. The last time I did it, it really helped me get a handle on my schedule. because it's so overwhelming, to decide what to do each day. Getting ready for this thing made me print out each day and kind of look through and identify the things that I want to go to.
I think that's what obligates me. I mean, my website's down like this week, and I'm obviously moving my hosting provider. But that's why I always update the South by Southwest guide, because first it gives me the opportunity, if somebody saw it, they'll probably just stop me and I'll have a chance to talk with somebody. Like last year, I think last year I met like 4 or 5 people that actually took the time to read it, right? So that was kind of cool. And then on the other side, it obligates me to kind of plan a little bit. Last year, I think I overplanned. This year, I've been like, I actually saw the opportunity and just joining you and kind of like, okay, now I have a chance to just at least schedule my 2 days. But what was funny, Steve, was that this year I got paid to set up somebody's schedule at South. So I prepared somebody's schedule, but mine's still, up in the air. So.
Wow. What did they ask of you?
Well, I'm working with Jillian Borse. I think you met her, and one of the things she does, which is kind of awesome for clients, is like if they're going to a conference and it's not, she'll just plan something out and give them tips and ideas. So it was kind of cool that that she's just kind of like laying down the groundwork, and instead of like her clients are so busy, we just give them ideas and then they choose what they prefer. So that was kind of cool.
Wow. I saw Breather was looking for a PR person for Boston, and so I'm an investor in that, and I saw Julian put that on Facebook, so I think you were the first to say Jillian was someone great to use, and I was like, what? And then I wrote, Jillian's a good friend of mine, and I didn't really know that you guys were working together.
Yeah, I actually met her last year when I went to Boston for one of Chris's events. And then we connected very well, and we've just been talking for the last year, and she's like at the end of January she needs some help on some stuff, so she, I reached out to her and we started working, doing small projects and just doing some website assessment stuff like that. So yeah, and obviously I'm always very grateful for people that always send work my way, so I'm trying to just pay it back, and Jillian has been a great resource in that. Not only is she a good friend, it's one thing is to have a good friend, the other thing is to actually have friends that actually get you work, which are not for the most part the biggest proportion in my life. So yeah, so it was kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, with these data worlds, everything's so small because you're in Boston. You're like probably closer to Jillian most of the time. I'm down here in Puerto Rico, and here an investor's breather, and I'm here suggesting Jillian. I think you mentioned her, and somebody else after just kept on, like 2 or 3 more people mentioned her, which was even cooler because then you see people are actually vouching for her.
Yeah, you saw on that thread. She told me, I just saw her the other day, and she said there was like 6 or 7 people on the thread mentioning her name and recommending her, and she said that made her feel so great.
Yeah, I mean, because when you look at it, it's just not. I think out of the whole group is people from different geographical locations and maybe different walks of life are just recommending her, which makes it even cooler, because sometimes we kind of fall into these spots where we're like in one industry or whatever, but I saw a diversity of people recommending her, so I thought that was really cool.
And also, it's people who are connected, like to you and me and Julian, so he knows it's kind of vetted.
Exactly. Oh yeah, exactly, because it was Julian asking. So yeah, it's not like when for example, the secret team where like people say yes and people don't necessarily know each other. So yeah, it does add a lot more value. I mean, it's what we always talk about, how vouching for somebody, or just even with a brand, when you want to try something out, it has more value when it's in your network.
Yeah. You look like you're wearing like a surgeon's on top or something, and I'm with it. I have like the, it's freezing up here still. So
Matt,
I'm in Boston, and it's like 32 degrees.
I'm actually trying out my daughter's room's new AC, and it's new. This is the first time I turn it on because it is hot out here. It's like should be like 80, 85 degrees. So.
And you're where?
I'm in Puerto Rico. I'm in San Juan. Like, I kid you not, Steve, if I pointed that way, which would be a really bad idea because the sun is just coming in through there, you see the beach like 100 feet away. So.
That's great.
I'm sure. It's funny that you do that because last year I took a ride with Lois Ardito, and I was going to the Microsoft Nerd Center, right? And she's like, "You see this? Look around, Raul. Look around." It was like January, like one of the coldest weekends that you guys had. And she's like, "You see what I have to look at when you're taking pictures of the beach?" And I felt so bad for her because I was like, "Ouch." so every time I post a picture and she likes or comments, I'm only thinking like, I only hope she has okay weather on her side.
We didn't, but we need that kind of stuff when we have so much snow. It was just a world record of snow. But I was lucky because for 2 weeks of it I wasn't here.
you were traveling all over.
I was on the West Coast, the Super Bowl, and having the greatest time. And I felt bad sending back pictures, but everybody wishes they were where I was.
But you know what? My brother's up in Connecticut, and when I don't post the picture and it's like really cold, he'll say like, "Dude, where's my picture?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "No, I need those pictures, man. I need to imagine I'm not here." I'm like, so sometimes I'll post a picture just for Javier and Lois's sake, But I guess I mean it was funny because I literally thought you had a Seahawks hat. It looks kind of green up there.
Now? Yeah. I know.
I wasn't paying attention. It kind of throws you off.
Yeah, it's the. Is it
on purpose?
Oh, wait a minute. Where is it?
Oh yeah. There.
Wait, where's my? Oh, there it is. It's St. Patrick's Day
edition. Okay.
That's why.
I think the green threw me off, and I was like. And then when you said Super Bowl, I'm like, oh, yeah, it is the Patriots.
I got this, my Super Bowl towel I got from going down there. It was like the best game ever. So much fun.
Look, I've never been a Patriots fan, but it was a good game. I was watching it, and I was like, wow. Because I really thought it was going to happen again, like with the Giants, when they lost at the last moment. and hey, it was a great game. I mean, every time the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, it's a good game. Because I remember, when was it? When they lost against the Giants? It was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they lost at the last moment. It was like literally they were winning till like the Giants, did one of these plays, and I was like, wow. So it was good that didn't happen again, especially you being there, because I mean, nothing better than being in the Super Bowl and your team winning.
Yeah, I know. I am the biggest Patriots fan. And GMC was just looking for a blogger to send to represent the Patriots, and then they were looking for a blogger to send to represent Seattle, and they picked me, and we both went down there. So we were in the stands together, and the game was up and down, back and forth, and they were like, back and forth, all the way to the end. And when it was so loud too, the Seattle fans are unbelievably loud. Like they're known as being like the loudest in the league, and it was probably 70% Seahawks fans and 20 or 30% Patriots fans. So we were way outnumbered, and it hurt my ears. They were so loud.
Nah, but I mean, it would have been cool to live stream you both, I think, going at it. Maybe a suggestion for next year: the Patriots go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I know. My God, there was no. We took pictures, but the game. We were so into the game at the end, and when that guy made that crazy acrobatic catch at the end, we saw him go down, and then it was we couldn't see what happened, and half the stadium couldn't see. So that was like the one moment in the whole game where it just went like, quiet. And I was like, wow, that's weird. It got really quiet. We didn't know which way it was going to go. And then they ruled it complete. And so the Seattle fans were like, yeah. And we were like, uh-oh. Oh, my God. It was great.
Yeah, you're mentioning a lot of noise. I'm glad we're not having too much noise because I literally live next to a hotel.
Yeah.
And doing these streams sometimes, I mean, it gets loud, especially on the weekends. But today's kind of quiet day, I guess. It's weird. I live next to a hotel, so when I go to Austin, I stay at my friend's house, and it's so quiet, Steve. I can't sleep then because I'm used to having all this, background noise around me. That when I get there, it's like silence. And it's like the first few days, usually I used to put some headsets on or something because it's either the ocean or the noise. But when there, it's like just quiet. So I gotta get used to that. I mean, my life is so bad. I have to hear the ocean, you know, rolling and just, you know.
Yeah, I have an app. I have an app for that.
Yeah, people buy that stuff on Brookstone. We actually had somebody that came in and complained about that in the building, and we're like, what? Like, people buy these things, you know? Here is for free. So we're almost at the 3 p.m., right?
Someone complained about what?
About the ocean. Oh, it's too noisy. We're like, they were New Yorkers, and you know, I worked in New York for 2 years. I'm like, I think people buy, you know, these towers that make ambience noise, and here you have it for free, and you're complaining. So it was kind of weird. I guess people are so used to sterile environments of being able to turn something on and off that when you're around nature, it's like, what? I can't turn this off? I want to switch the channel. I want to hear butterflies or whatever, you know?
That's funny. One of the hotels we went to, we were brought to our room, and I heard this really loud noise from outside, and I looked out the window, and it was these huge air conditioning units, and they were humming, you know, and I looked at Carol, and I said, this is actually too loud. I could get used to it probably, but what, you know, we shouldn't have this, right? So we called down, and they got us a new room. They upgraded us to a suite, and it was with a porch and a balcony and everything. It was a lot better.
Well, at least you were at the hotel. I get the air conditioners from their hotel, and it's in my apartment. So I'm not getting upgraded to a suite anytime soon.
Funny. All right, I guess we can get started. So let's do that. I'm going to say, hey, Meerkat people, we're going to get started.
That's our whole audience right there.
So we have 39 people there, and then I'll just introduce it, and this will be our beginning thing. You know, this is our beginning slide. Here it goes like this. These are my graphics. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, it's the flying. Oh, it could fly in, right? Okay. There we go. Hey, everybody, it's Steve Garfield from stevegarfield.com, and welcome to the road to South by Southwest. I'm in Boston. It's freezing here, and I'm joined by Raul Colon, who's in Puerto Rico. Hey, Raul, welcome to the show.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's great to have you, and it's cool to be connected year-round on Facebook and things and social media, and then we get to see each other, you know, at least once a year down at South by. So for today's show, we're going to go over what's happening on Saturday, March 14th and Sunday, March 15th. I have some tips for both the daytime, the sessions and events, and then parties at night, and Raul has some suggestions too. And I thought we would start off with basic tips. So I have 3 basic tips I'd like to share. One of my tips is to print out your schedule, because a lot of things go wrong. Sometimes you can't log into the app. Like, I had problems logging into the app. So what I do is I print out the day schedule, and right now mine looks like this. That's March 14th, and it is ridiculous. Each day has just a million things. So that's my first tip, is to print out the schedule. And the second tip is I have a lot of things that I might want to go to in the day, but I usually choose 2 or 3 things that I definitely want to go to. So even though I have a whole bunch, I'll say I really have to go to like this one thing on the first day at 9:30, so I make sure I go to that. Even if I meet someone in the hall, I say, you know, I'm sorry, I got to go to this thing, because if you don't, serendipity and meeting people is one of the greatest things of South by, but if you don't make a firm commitment to go to some of the things you want to go to, you'll end up not going to anything. I remember last year, I was there, like it was my 3rd day, and my wife I was talking to her on the phone, Carol, and she's like, so how are the sessions? And I said, I hadn't gone to any sessions. So I made a point to go to sessions. And then my 3rd tip is to ABC, always be charging. And I have one of these chargers for my phone, and this one is a Jackery. It's a new version of it. Actually, I have my old version over here. So there's 2 sizes. So this is a charger, USB charger. and it charges up. So this one from last year would charge my phone like 2.5 times, and I think this is over 3 times. So I think these will get me through the day. And I think I'm going to be streaming with Meerkat while I'm down there, and that tends to use some battery. So bye, Carol. So I'm going to have these with me to keep my phone charged. Raul, what tips do you have?
I think going back to the schedule, making it realistic. I think I make a guide every year, and I actually ask for tips, and that was kind of consistent. Make it realistic, because sometimes we want to go to everything. There's so many interesting things to do, and it's so hard. Like you just mentioned, just making it to one session sometimes becomes a challenge when you're bumping into people that you haven't seen in all year. I remember we had that conversation last year where Carol on your side was asking you, and Lucy on my side was asking me, like, what sessions have you gone to? And unless you're there, I compare this to boot camp. When I went to boot camp basic training in Fort Knox, Kentucky, as much as people explained to me what boot camp was going to be like, it was nothing I could compare to until I was there. And unless you've been there, and for the rookies, keep your schedule simple. Like Steve said, just make sure you pick one thing to do, right? The second thing I do is I call it the rule of 3. I pick one event, I pick one meetup, and I pick one party. And I might go to more, but at least I make the commitment to that. So, last year I remember I followed Steve around, because I met him, and sometimes you'll bump into somebody, you won't see them again for the whole session. So, I hung around Steve, and we went into some sessions on comedians on Twitter and stuff like that. And it was kind of cool because, it moves me to my third tip is to move out of my comfort zone, because if I do web development all the time and I do digital marketing all the time, I probably want to have an idea of something different. And that was my chance to go into and see comedians that are like, they become famous on Twitter. And that would be something completely, I like comedy. I'm not as funny as I think I am sometimes, but it actually helped me, move into something that's out of my comfort zone and getting to meet new people. So those are my 3, make a realistic schedule, the rule of 3, and then make sure you move out of your comfort zone and do something completely different of what you would do normally.
Those are great tips. I especially like number 3, to move out of your comfort zone, and how you've followed me, and I was going into comedians and things like that. That's what I do too. I'll find someone, and I might have an idea of what I want to do, but I'll say, hey, where are you going next? And they're saying, I'm going to go see this person who I know is really great. And I'll be, well, okay, I'll just go with you. And that's kind of like this follow the wisdom of the crowds thing, which you can actually physically do in real space. So those are great tips. So let's move on to Saturday and talk about the daytime. And so on my schedule, I have 3 things that I've marked off here. And the first is hyper reality TV and online video. And that is featuring Morgan Spurlock. So he's funny. He does amazing creative things with TV, and of his like real reality TV, not manufactured or scripted TV. So I'm going to go see him. He's at 9:30 on March 14th, and then so the next thing I have is 3:30, which gives me time in the middle. I have some other things, but these are the 3 things I outlined. So at 3:30, is Gary Vaynerchuk up against Jack Welch from GE, and they're going to have this kind of debate discussion. And Gary V never disappoints when I go see him, right?
Wow, Jack and Gary V. I can't think of 2 polar opposites completely. It's.
So that's going to be moderated by Susie Welch, Jack's wife, and that is going to be crazy. And then the third thing is, friends. And I normally, in the years past, I'd gone to all my friends' things to support them, and that's great and all, but I already know everything that they're talking about, so it didn't really use my time that well. So then I stopped going to friends' things because I see them up here all the time, and they know I support them, and I didn't. But in this case, I am going to go and support my 2 friends, Thomas Edwards and Laurie Davis, who met on Twitter, and she's an online dating coach, and he's a in real life dating coach. And they are on at 5 o'clock, How Technology Created America's Tweethearts. How sweet! So that's at the JW Marriott, a new venue for South by. It's the largest hotel now down in Austin. So those are my three. Raul, what are yours?
Well, I mean, I might follow you around, especially with that Morgan one. Is Morgan the guy that did the movie on that JetBlue was one of the sponsors and stuff like that? No, I think
That what?
that Morgan guy you mentioned.
Yeah.
Was he the guy that came out in the movie that supposedly was like sold all the advertisements and stuff
Yes,
like that?
that's the guy. That was a good movie.
Yeah. So yeah, but on my schedule is I want to see Bistone. It's at 12:30. It's Bistone on creativity and redefining success. I mean, I haven't heard Biz talk since wow, that's going to be like 4 years when the Twitter Developer Conference went by. I think that was 2011. So I like to see what's up with him because I mean I haven't heard about him in a while. He's kind of like you read a lot of stuff in the press, but I don't know if I haven't been following him around, but something that's interesting. I want to stay around the convention center just to make sure I can make it to things. So then the next one is Princess Rema, Mission to Empower Saudi Women. It'd be kind of interesting to see exactly what she's trying to say, especially when it comes to women's rights and stuff like that in a place like Saudi Arabia. I mean, I see a lot of stuff, but that's what's great about SoftBuy. You have a chance to actually, even if you don't agree with what you're seeing, you can actually just step up to a mic and actually ask questions. It's not filtered like maybe some other environments where it'd be really hard for you to just step up to a mic and ask any questions, And then at 5, I think Jimmy Kimmel's going to be around, a conversation with Jimmy Kimmel. And since I don't watch much TV now, that kind of gets me out of my comfort zone again because I really don't watch TV other than some of the stuff I watch on Hulu. So those would be my 3. But it's up for grabs. If I see somebody like I might follow you around Morgan, or if I bump into somebody that mentions somebody I don't completely know, I might change this. So. That's what's planned, but it can be changed easily.
Okay, that's cool. I think the other thing you said, staying around the convention center, makes it easier to go from thing to thing, and also to just stand down at the lower level there and just have people walk back and forth. I'll buy you all the time, or up at the top level where there's interactive sessions outside the PayPal lounge. Like those are good areas to go and just kind of let serendipity help you meet people. So let's move to Saturday night, March 14th. And so I'm going to a couple private things, which I guess I won't mention because other people won't be able to go to them. But the public things that look interesting to me, again, I kind of look for video, TV, comedy. So Dan Harmon is doing a podcast recording at 7 to 8:30. That I could go to, depending on how the party that I'm going to works out, how it goes. But that's a thing that I would definitely go to if I didn't have a conflict. And then the second thing is Vimeo, which is the video hosting site. I host some of my videos on. I've used them for a really long time. I know some of the people who work there, and some of my friends are going to this party. So that's 9 o'clock is the Vimeo party. So that's mine for Saturday night. How about you?
I think I'm on track with Vimeo, and then something else similar to your case that it's kind of private. But other than that, I really haven't planned the night because I mean I just picked one, and there was a secret group on Facebook. I'm not gonna say where it was, and I saw the Vimeo thing, and I just signed up for it because I kind of guess some of my friends were gonna be there, and it's a good place to meet new people. So.
Yep, that's cool. So let's go to Sunday, March 14th, and in the day. I'm using your plan right here. I have one thing highlighted. I have like 5 or 6 things listed, but realistically, I know I'm only going to get to go to a few.
No, and Carol's going to be there monitoring you this time, so there's a big difference.
So my wife's going, and she's going ticketless, and I'm sending her all these invites to things. She's going to be so busy. She's going to be going to things all day and all night, and we'll probably see each other at some point. So this is the way this is going to go. March 15th, the first thing that I have starred that I totally am definitely going to go to is 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and it's about the cast of Community, the TV show, moving to digital. And funny enough, Dan Harmon is there, who's a guy I really like. I've been following him for a really long time. He writes that show. And he's also the executive producer of it. So this is a panel, and it also has Joel McHale, who's a star of that show. So I'm going to definitely go to that, and that's in room 18 ABCD, where they take, they can either split them up into 4 rooms or make it one big one, and that has worked out pretty well. You don't get shut out. So I'm going to get that probably a little early, maybe a half hour early. And then the second thing I have noted here is the PayPal Lounge, which I loved last year, and that's sponsored by PayPal. TechSet runs it, and it's right up there in the convention center, right by room 18 ABCD. And you can go in there and get some water, some stuff to eat, and then they have sessions running through there all afternoon, and nice tables where you can chat and mingle. So you get both. You can mingle and talk to people. Sometimes I've been in there for 2 or 3 hours, and I was like, oh shoot, I just missed like 2 things I wanted to go to. But the things that I saw in there were, just as good and interesting, and it's kind of easy to default to just sit in there. You've gone to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think first 2 years I went to South by, it was sponsored by another company and run by the same people of TechSet. And I remember I would just camp out there. I wouldn't go anywhere else because first you would meet a bunch of cool people. I think some of my closest friends from South by, I met them at that same space. And then the second thing is you have celebrities going in and out. I remember the day Shaquille O'Neal went in, and I used to be a big Orlando, Anthony Hardaway, Fernie Hardaway, and Shaquille O'Neal fan when I was a teenager, and here he's walking in, just sitting in because he's being interviewed. The same thing with Robert Rodriguez and a bunch of other celebrities. So you get a mix of people that are doing cool stuff, and then you get a mix of celebrities, and then you get to chat with people. Well, you catch up on work because I run my business. That doesn't stop because South by is going on, and it gives me a chance to just relax, get something to eat, which is something I tend to do. Skip, it's something I worked hard at last year and I did better, but there's so many things to do there, and then again it goes into what you just mentioned. You're in one place and people are circling around you, where if you're going all around there's less probability you're going to bump into people you probably want to see. So yeah, I'll probably camp out there for a little while. And what I really like about that is I think they were the first people to send an email out saying, hey, by the way, you were there last year. If you're coming to South by, you're invited here again. So, it's easy to go in. You can show your business card, whatever. But they're so organized. They let me know weeks ahead that that it was happening again. So. Yeah.
For people watching, they want you to pre-register. So just register for the TechSet PayPal Lounge at South by.
Mm-hmm.
So for March 15th at night, I got 3 things: 7, 9, and 10, which are Tech Cocktail Party, Mash Bash, and Marketo. So 3 things. Plus, I have like 2 other things slid in here, which are private things. So that makes 5. So we'll see what happens. Do you have?
We're gonna audit that. Well, on Sunday we're gonna. I think Sunday morning I want to go to the Bringing the Flying Car into Reality. Right. As a kid, I've been hearing there's gonna be a flying car, and I still haven't seen one, So it'd be kind of interesting, thinking of the Jetsons and stuff you've been thinking. Because when you look at how technology has evolved, that's one of the things that just been, like the hoverboard. It hasn't happened. So I want to be there at 11. That's probably one of the only things I'm going to do outside of plan. That's at the JW Marriott. Do you know exactly where the JW Marriott's going to be at? Because every year I go there, there's new buildings up. But
it's like just 2 blocks away from the convention center. Last year it was a big hole in the ground, and now it's going to be like a huge tower. You're not going to miss it.
Last year was probably a parking. This year it's not.
No, it was actually a hole in the ground.
Okay.
Because I totally looked at it. It was just a block worth of a big hole with they were digging and getting the infrastructure ready. Putting girders up.
I guess last year, last 2 years, I've seen so much development. I remember where I used to park my car. They're like buildings now. It's like, so parking is gonna be tough. But then there's one that says you're connected, Raul. What did you sign up for? So that's kind of interesting, seeing the perspective of other people, how things keep on evolving. I used to organize the security, so I see things and I kind of like hold myself back because I see so many, vulnerabilities with it. But when I see the value in the other things that things bring to me, I remember last year with Google Glass. You started seeing a lot more people walking around with Google Glass, and I was kind of hesitant at the beginning, but then hearing some of the stories of how people were using Google Glass, it was kind of interesting. And then you see the value in where some specific people might take value of it. So seeing that, it kind of caught my eye, and that's why I might be there. It's going to be at Ballroom A, and it's at 3:30 on that's on Sunday. So that's 2 events on Sunday.
Okay, cool. So I think we did a great job in doing it quick and easy and giving people ideas of things to do. So Raul, you'd mentioned to me that you did a guide for South by. Where can people find that, and where can people, connect with you online?
Okay, people can connect with me online either at raulcolon.net or on Twitter, RJ_C. And on my company website, Limonade, which is LIMONADE, Inc.com, / South by Southwest, obviously the initials SXSW. There should be a guide there. This guide has evolved just to be this really long blog post, so I made it a little bit simpler. Hopefully by tomorrow it should be running okay. It's been breaking the last few days. So there's tips for, like, if you're a rookie, if you're planning, tips of where to eat, if you're vegan like me, and a bunch of other stuff, and some tips from some cool people. Some of the tips I shared were shared by Ewan Spencer and some veterans. People have gone to South by many times. They're sharing literally what they would do what they do when they're there. So that's where you can find it.
Okay, that's awesome. And people can find me on Twitter at Steve Garfield. That basically leads you everywhere. So thanks for watching, Raul. Thanks for coming on. This was fun. I think people will find it valuable. And obviously, I will see you down at South by Southwest.
Yeah, I'll see you with a different hat, I guess, right? A cowboy hat.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Oh, I got it over there. Yeah, get that thing. I wear this hat once a year. I love this hat. Yeah.
I don't know if they have my hat size, but I should get one too. Just to.
Yeah. So there it is.
So that's how you'll find Steve when he's walking around.
Like this. And last year I got my hat, this belt. See that? I went into a store looking for the thing that I had on here was really cheap, and so I went in a store and they had like 50 different these little hat belts things to choose from. It was really cool down there. You can get any kind of cowboy thing you want down there.
Exactly, for the Boston Cowboys like you.
Exactly. And I also hear that a lot of people go down there and buy cowboy boots, and I hear they're really comfortable.
Uncomfortable and really expensive. I mean, at least for my taste. I mean, I remember the first time I went to Texas I was 18 years old, and I was at the Intel used to run, or they still run it. It's the Science and Engineering Fair. It's the International Science and Engineering Fair, and we stopped at a place just going to the Fort Worth stockyards, and I went into the store with just like this huge display of beautiful, cowboy boots, and I had no idea what they cost until I started asking, and like seconds later I was out of the store. It was like I was in high school. I couldn't have. It was like, what? Like $2,000, $5,000? It's like, wow, I'm out of there.
Oh wow. I didn't have any idea that they were that expensive.
Yeah, well, the place where we stopped at apparently was really expensive, and it's just like, what? Being 18 years old and hearing that amount, I was like, forget it, bye. So I thought buying Air Jordans was expensive, Here it goes.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So thanks again. I'm going to hit stop broadcast, and let's see what happens. Bye.